looking like a baddie. I show up and make them stop. Wanna know my name so badly, cause I run this whole block. Flip my hair, move my head, show the world I'm royalty. When I walk by, they be taking bows, cause they know I'm a queen, yeah. Move it, move it, groove it, groove it. They wanna know just how I do it when I do it, do it. I got that magic touch, it's a rush, pulsing through my veins when I show up everybody.
Hola mi gente, what's up my peeps, how are you tonight? It is a beautiful night. I want to know how everybody's doing. Thank you for tuning in with your girl Linda Lynn and Could Be You TV. You already know, for those of you that do know or don't know, remember, share the link. Sharing is caring. Remember, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We are live, like, there's no excuse. We're on Roku. And, get this, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m., we are on channel 115, Optimum Online. Can you believe this? Yes. So there is absolutely no excuse whatsoever why you're not watching the show. It's going to be an amazing, entertaining, interesting show. I cannot wait till I get to my guests later on. But the first thing we're going to do is just go straight to our birthday shout-outs. And happy birthday, feliz cumpleaños. May you all have many, many, many more blessings. And in case you're wondering, how did I know it was your birthday? Well, I am psychic. No, but I mean, yeah, maybe, no, okay. Well, if we're friends on Facebook, you know when you get the notification that it's somebody's birthday? Well, that's how I know. And if we're not friends on Facebook, let's get to it. And also, if you want to give a birthday shout out, if you want to give just a hello shout out, an anniversary shout out, any type of shout out, you can always email at couldbeyoutv@gmail.com. Yay! Guys, I want to chit chat. I want to hear Daniel. Daniel, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Wilson. Thank you so much. This is what I love. I love the interaction. Let's get to it. I want to hear everybody's weekends. I want to hear what everybody did, because I want to tell you shortly what I did this weekend, which was amazing. I had so much fun. Shout out to TJ and TJ Kids Productions. We're actually working on a independent movie. It's a horror, kind of like a comedy horror flick. I am so honored. I'm so happy to have been part of this. We had so much fun. We're like in the middle of like filming, so you know we have different dates and stuff. But I believe that the pick of the day, I think, goes to me and Sabrina. I think we were in between shoots. Do we have that picture of the day? There we go. That's the pick of the day. That was filming day. I think it's such a cute picture of me and Sabrina. I play her stepmom in the film. She plays a teenage zombie. Can I give that away, TJ, if you're on? Oh, Cynthia, thank you so much for joining us as well. So that was a lot of fun, guys. So shout out to him. And being that I'm touching on the subject, I believe I brought a little video to show. This is funny, guys. Listen to this. So we're in between takes. We're doing the movie scene, and they asked me to do the telenovela version, the Latin version. So I did a little skit here. I let out what any mad Latina would do. But so we have that video to show, Bobby.
Telenovela version of Necromance. And
Ya, sí acabó. Hazme el favor, lárgate de aquí, ya estoy harta de estas estupideces. No te quiero ver más.
That was really good. Yeah.
Muy bien, muy bien. Yeah, sí. Oh, most mantequilla for our party.
Where's my Oscar? Can I get? Where's my? Oh, I'll pick it up later. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. That was. Thank you. That was my. Oh my God. Thank you for that. That was so unexpected. But I had a lot of fun doing that. So shout out once again to TJ Kiss Productions. Moving along. What else do we have, Bobby? We have a pet corner.
Birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday, dear Snoopy. Happy birthday to you.
Come here.
Are you one? Are
Come
you
here,
two?
Festoon,
Are
what
you
you-
three? Are you four?
Go.
Are you
1,
five?
2,
Are you six?
3.
Yay, Snoopy! Yay! We love you, Snoopy.
So Snoopy happens to be I don't know, do I call him my little nephew or something? So she happy birthday, Snoopy. That is sent in by my sister-in-law, Kim. Snoopy turned 6. Happy birthday. And all these birthdays makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. But what's gonna make me even more happy is when I introduce you to my guest. So before we do that, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna come back with Rosie Jimenez. Woo!
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought. All right, so we are live, Paradise Studios, New York. Give yourself a round of applause for coming out tonight. Woo!
And with no further ado, I want to introduce you to the one and only Rosie Jimenez. She is a holistic healer. She is a speaker and all, like, welcome. Like, it was just too much to name there. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I want you to tell them all what is exactly, because that was a mouthful there. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I always love to hear, the whole, when you're a healer and holistic, and it's just like very it's like soothing to know that you're next to someone who you think, because everybody has some type of issue that sometimes they just need some kind of healing, I guess. Yes. So what exactly is that you do for all audience that are watching right now and tuning in? Who is Rosie Jimenez?
Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely.
So I'm a holistic health healer and counselor. I help people activate their natural healing powers. Usually disease, if you look at the word disease,
Okay.
means that you're not at ease. That's really how disease comes to be. Doctors, we may go to doctors for symptoms, and all that we are ever prescribed is something to numb the symptom, not to heal. Like doctors are not even allowed to say that they can heal you with medication. But a holistic healer can help you activate your natural healing powers by connecting to your life force, which is your spirit.
That is absolutely amazing. You know, and interesting enough that you mentioned that. I actually have, if she's still on my Facebook Live right here. So my best friend since like ninth grade, Cynthia. We just came back from a trip from Europe. But, you know, Cynthia has been sick for a while and she is battling cancer. And but she is one of the few who opted to go the holistic way. You know, I think you as an individual who would only know, but it's funny because she also mentioned the fact how she wants to take this trip out to Peru, I think it is, you know, and because they have the whole holistic herbs and they make, and because, you know, so I think it'll be great. Cynthia, if you're tuning in right now, if you're listening, it would be great, you know, to connect, find each other on whatever, you know, platform, because I think there's something really good, you know, that to make more understanding of, because like I said, you know, not everybody goes that holistic way.
Correct.
You know?
And I've noticed that more of the Western medicine is coming in here to help people really activate that power through meditation, through calming your nervous system. Me personally, I have gone through different post-traumatic stress disorder, trauma, childhood trauma, that led me to clinical depression.
Okay.
And from there is that my journey really started wanting to heal myself naturally, because all I was being given was prescription medication, which wasn't really helping me. If anything, was making me worse. And having two little ones at the time, because this was in 2003, 2004, that I was diagnosed that way. And it's been a journey that I didn't even imagine that it was going to turn into something that I would be a healer of this same disease, mental health.
Wow, that is very. So with that, who is there someone that you went to see that you're interested in becoming a healer yourself, or is this something that somebody guided you through, you know, or?
Well, I have to say my very first, I guess, aha moment or awakening was the doctor that dismissed me from the hospital.
Okay.
He said if I had any thoughts of harming myself, to come to the emergency room. And so when he said that in that particular way, if you have thoughts, he didn't say if you harm yourself. He said if you have thoughts. And that made me question. I was like, wait, it wasn't me? He's like, no, it wasn't you. They're just thoughts. You're not your thoughts. Like, if you think about it,
Interesting.
our thoughts are not ours. We didn't come into the world with language. We learned how to speak language by the people around us.
Right.
Right? And so everything that we speak is everything that we've learned. So none of the thoughts that we speak are ours. Essentially, we are this bundle of joy when we come in, right? We're all happy. There isn't a child that comes into the world depressed.
Right.
Or with any kind of those symptoms, those mental health symptoms, but we learn them, and through childhood, whether it be trauma, whether it be, being exposed to a lot of negativity, is that the person can be formed and have these thoughts. And so that was my first clue. And then after that, I became very vigilant with my thoughts, which led me to meditation.
Okay.
It also led me through a 12-step program. And then from there is that I went to school at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which helped me learn how to even feed my body. So it was like a continuous process, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I believe we had, Bobby, I believe we had this video. Yeah. Can we just kind of play that so we can have an idea of exactly, I think, one.
The Inspired Prophets Podcast,
with Rosie, happiness consultant, and Reverend Mick, funeral consultant, is dedicated to inspire you to live a more inspirationally balanced life, one episode at a time, in the different areas of life and everything in between before death.
I think that is beautiful. I think you sound so, you sound like that voice. Like you sound like that voice that you would just put your, your headphones on and everything's dark and it's like when they give, when you're like in space and they'll start talking about the universe and
Yes.
you have that voice.
Yes, I get that a lot.
Do you really? Yeah.
Yes, I've had many friends that will get into these amazing conversations, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, Rosie, you have such a soothing voice," and I'm like, "Are you sure it's not that I'm boring you?"
Yeah.
Like, no, your voice just puts me, relaxes
No, I think
me.
even like the intro you do for your podcast, it's very very audiobook, very
Yes.
like
Thank
that's
you.
great. That's very
Thank you.
interesting. That's great. And your nationality is
I'm born and raised here in New York. I was born
Okay.
in Manhattan, but my parents are from Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Well, being from Ecuador, well, it's like going to like let's say the Peruvian place. Why is Peru per se? Why is Peru the place where because I've heard on more than one occasion how people find solace in going to Peru. I know of another couple that went on a journey like. I guess a spiritual journey out into Peru. What specifically is about Peru that?
Well, I know, like I said, what I know about Ecuador. Ecuador is right. It's literally neighboring Peru. There's a border that meets Peru. So
Ecuador?
Ecuador.
Okay.
Yes, it's right next door. I actually took a trip to Peru in 2018.
Okay.
And for a whole month. And there they have certain modalities. Or one of them is called ayahuasca.
Okay.
And
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, yes. And they'd use it they make it out of a root, and it's a tea, it's a ceremony.
So ayahuasca is
It's an herb, yes.
It's an herb,
It's like
okay.
a tea that you drink made out
Okay.
of a few herbs, all natural, and it brings you to have an experience. There are a few actually
Yes.
documentaries.
I don't know where my Cynthia went, but this is something that she was speaking of because she wanted to take her two sons with her.
Okay.
Because she felt like they needed this experience, out of body experience.
Yes.
You know what? Listening to this, you explain and listening to her, it sounds very like surreal. It sounds something kind of like from a movie, I guess. Because you basically only really hear about it or see about it. These movies when people go into third world countries, into the jungles and the Amazon, and you have
Yes,
the,
yes.
the pygmy people or whatever it is,
Yes.
So it's to hear somebody actually talk about it. It's like it takes you. It's like your mind. It's like I'm wondering. I'm just like picturing, you going in there and trying to like I was born and raised here as well, but I know all about nature because I spent most of my time as well in Puerto Rico with my mom and growing up and in the mountains, in the woods, forest, or however you want to call it,
Yes,
so I know all about that nature, and I know about having your own garden vegetables and and chopping down your own plátanos and every kind of fruit and vegetable you can imagine, every kind of I remember I used to be in love, like I always suffered from environmental allergies. So I remember they used to grow like this leaf, like plant, and you used to use it as tea, but it was like so sweet. Like it wasn't like, a little bit bitter, or, like a leaf or anything. It wasn't grass,
Right, yeah.
And every year I have them like pick and put them in the bag, and it's just that's how I used to make drink my tea. I
Nice.
never knew anything else with tea bag. That was like the natural. So somewhat like I experienced, the whole nature.
Yeah,
But
innately you knew
but I
it.
think that is like at another level.
It is. It really is. It does bring you to a whole other level. They have ceremonies there. They're also having them in Costa Rica and many other places. The other place in Peru that's very, very special and sacred is Machu Picchu.
Okay.
And that's it's like these
Is that with the
ruins.
pyramids?
It looks like the pyramids, but they're
Okay.
actually these ruins where it's considered sacred ground. Only a certain amount of people are allowed up on there on each day. You have to
Okay.
actually make a reservation to go on to
Okay.
Machu Picchu. It's like you can do it as a hike, or you can drive up there because it is something that the country itself holds it very sacred, takes care of it.
Okay.
It's like holy ground.
Holy ground. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's so
It's
interesting.
beautiful. It's very beautiful there.
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like Peru is like it holds the key to, to all the
Yes,
it holds the key to this fascinating. You know what it is. We're not dumb. We're smart people, and you hear it. When they talk about all these pharmaceutical companies. And listen. It's impossible that you have people flying into outer space, into moons, doing all these crazy things with the universe, but if you yet, when you think about it, they can do organ transplants. They can make a heart out of whatever, a
3D
robot,
printers.
like but you're gonna tell me you don't have a cure for cancer, which is like probably the number one, there's always somebody that somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that has been affected.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I feel, like something's not right.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the
Something's
thing
not
is that I love that more people are having this awareness. There are so many documentaries, even just
Yeah.
in Netflix, that are coming out about Big Pharma on how that is really just a business, but they're not educating people. And we also need to tap into our nature, our spirit, because
Listen,
that's our life force.
I'm not saying like, oh my God, we don't need the pharmaceuticals and that it's
God,
crap.
no.
Like I'm sure that there's medicine that we need, but I do think that withhold, because if they do let it out, then in their minds, I guess, then they won't make what they're making now. I guess you know what I'm saying. But like I'm not saying anything bad, right? Like I don't have like blacked out cars pulling up in the front and because she's onto something. No, I'm not onto anything. I don't know anything. I'm just going by my feelings and my thoughts. And I have people who are extremely close to me, like my friend Cynthia, who are suffering. And if there's something out there, like why withhold it? Like so now we're going to Peru. I mean, I'm not going to Peru, but but we're going to Peru to find whatever it is. So I think that's a beautiful thing. So you don't make those trips, right? That's not your kind of
No, I don't
healing?
make those trips. I mean, I know that there are people that come, like shamans, because you usually need a shaman to do the ceremony. There are shamans that do travel into the United States for people that maybe can't travel, they're not well enough to
And
travel.
so a shaman?
A shaman, yes.
And a shaman is?
Well, a shaman is like a holy or a higher level of a healer.
Okay.
There are some that come from generations.
Okay.
There are some that they just innately know that they were in another lifetime and they have those abilities.
Okay.
It's just kind of activating. Again, I truly believe that when we really connect to our spirit is where we discover what our true purpose is.
So with that being said, is all that connected or separate from, let's say, some type of religion? Or you can have any type of religion but still have that belief?
Correct. I believe that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, and that has nothing to do with religion.
Okay.
We are all a spirit in these bodies temporarily.
Right.
And what animates us, what feels like joy, happiness, is our spirit.
Okay.
That's really where that feeling comes from. When we fall in love, we feel it here. We don't feel it here in our mind. We don't feel it here. We feel it right here in our chest, which is our heart. And what's beating our heart.
Interesting.
Nice.
Wow. We have to give a shout out to Dan.
Yes.
Dan, he goes by Dan the Nightmare on Instagram. He's the one who actually connected us because he speaks very highly of you and all the things that you've done, for him and, other people as well, which is is the journey, So I am so happy and I'm so glad that you're actually here and talking about things that, it's not something of the norm, people, not everybody's interested in certain, in hearing and listening and really getting to know I'm one that I love, I love listening to everybody who has a story, anything to say, anything that I'm not aware of or I may not know of, and so something like this is very interesting. And it's nice to know.
Yes. Well, Dan mentioned you to me and asked me to contact you via Instagram because you are a winner of the course.
Yeah. Oh my God, how funny is that?
Yes.
Wait, Dan, where's my prize? Actually, I was supposed to go get it, but yeah, isn't that something? Like, I had no idea. It was just like random like that, and I really don't even win anything most of the time. Like, why can't I like win lotto or something, But I won this, and I'm like, oh, I won something. Like, what did I win? And then when he was telling me, I was like, oh my God, it sounds really interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. So, so I know that aside of you, is this something you practice on your own, or is it a clinic or anybody?
It's something that I practice on my own via Zoom. Yes,
okay.
it's like a Zoom call. We do our sessions. We do, if they're local, we do get in touch with each other in person.
Okay.
Sometimes there are certain places that we'll go in nature to do some of the modalities.
Okay.
But it's really tailored to the person.
Okay. So it's more individual.
It can be, yes.
Okay.
Unless the group of people are in that same need, with the same needs.
Right.
Yes.
Wow. That's really interesting. So you are a holistic healer, but you said something in between, which is what?
Counselor?
Counselor? Holistic, no,
Holistic health counselor.
health counselor. Yeah. So it's more, your counseling and your healing is more medical?
Emotional.
Emotional.
Yes, emotional. Bringing emotional balance.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh. So you're an author as well?
Yes. I have a
Okay.
couple of books. One of them
A
is
couple of books?
Yes.
I would have loved to have seen a
well,
book.
they are digital.
Oh,
They are
digital. Oh my God, you hear that? Everything is,
Yes.
Sometimes we just like to lay back with a book in our hands, I don't know how many people because you have your technology nowadays, right? But tell me a little bit more about what made you even what inspired to do this?
To which one? To write
do
the books?
To write the books,
Well,
yeah.
to be honest, that came through floating.
This is something I definitely need to hear about it. And I have to shout out to my son, Gianni. He's always talking about how this is the best thing that he is. I can begin to tell you how he describes actually floating, what he loves to do this. And he's like, you have to do it, Mom. You have. I'm like, okay, what? And finally, he's like, Ma, I got you. For Mother's Day, he bought me a gift to do this. But so explain to me in detail exactly what is floating.
Okay, so what is floating?
What is floating?
Well,
I need to know.
Imagine yourself floating in a cloud. Just literally floating.
Okay.
Close your eyes for a second. Literally close your eyes and imagine yourself floating in a cloud. You don't feel like you're even in your body.
This
You
will
just
be
feel,
me.
yes.
I'm like, okay. What's going on here?
But the actual floating experience is that you're going to be going into a warm bath of water, with over 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt and about 350 gallons of water. The water is body temperature.
But is this a bath tub? Is it a pool?
Yes, it's like a little pool. The size of it is, at least the ones at the float place, those are the only ones that I know the sizes of.
Okay.
Those are 5 by 8.
Okay.
So
do you feel like, if you feel like, I don't know, like would you feel like you're drowning at one point or anything like that? Like, do you hold on to something?
No,
or
you're literally floating. So if you've never floated, then you need to try it, because
I mean,
if you can't even imagine what you feel like floating.
I float in my pool, but there's nothing holding. Like I'm floating because.
No, but you actually are stiffening
Yeah,
your
I'm
body.
yeah,
no.
because
This,
how else?
it's effortless floating. The amount of salt that's
I gotta
in there.
prepare. God forbid I get lost at sea. I gotta learn how to.
Well, yes, for that, yes. But for this floating, you don't.
Okay.
Your body becomes very buoyant because of the amount of salt that's in there.
Salt, okay.
And the water, like I said, it's warm. What happens with Epsom salt in water is that it produces a high level of magnesium. And so the magnesium relaxes your body, that you just let go.
Just watching, just listening to you, it's just like it makes me. Is anything open right now? I'm gonna go float. I didn't go inside. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go float. Let me go home and go float. Can you do that at home?
If you want to get your own float, yes, absolutely. They do sell them. You can. Joe Rogan has his own.
But it's like a bathtub. No?
It is.
Bigger than a bathtub.
It is, yes, definitely
Okay.
bigger than a
And
bathtub.
you have to have a lot of.
Yes, the water's only about 11 inches deep.
Okay.
So it's not like it's,
You need
you're going to drown.
Of,
You'll be
of salt storage.
Yes, yes.
Storage. So how long is the sessions? Like how long are you there floating?
90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Yes.
So what happens if you fall asleep?
We won't leave you there. They won't. Nobody will leave you there. They'll play the music so that you can start waking up.
It's very interesting because I can only picture myself there, but if you go into like me, I'll start tossing and turning in bed if I fall asleep. Like what happens when I'm in the water?
Well, what happens is that you don't actually fall asleep, because that's not your routine to go to sleep,
Okay.
right? Unless you do that, maybe, but the process.
You hear me snoring when they're playing with my hair or they doing my eyebrows. So anything that's like very calming,
Yeah.
I'm most likely.
So maybe you will.
Okay.
But that's good, though. You'll still relax. You'll still get the benefits. Your body goes into a state of homeostasis, which is a level of healing, that your natural healing powers are like, okay, we don't have to focus on anything out here because you've disconnected from your senses. So it goes into healing mode, which is
Just by floating.
Just by floating. It's effortless. It is so effortless.
Has anybody done this? Would anybody would like to chit chat and let us know your experience? Because I definitely want to try this. But we're going to continue. We're going to continue talking about this. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to continue talking to our healer, our holistic healer, Rosie Jimenez. So we'll be right back.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought. All right, so we are live, Paradise Studios, New York. Give yourself a round of applause for coming out tonight. Woo!
Welcome back. And if you've missed half our show already and you're joining us now, thank you for joining. We are here talking. I'm having an amazing session here with the one and only. We have holistic health healer Rosie Jimenez. That is amazing what we were talking about before. It is incredible. It's very, and I think I mentioned to you this before we started the show, but I have to say, you do have an amazing voice, which is very soothing. Like, I think you'll be good with babies. Put them to, like, you have that, you start crying and you just hold them and they're already, it's okay. They're already up. Like, you're the one, like, are you the one when people arguing that you're the mediator and calm everybody down and everybody needs to chill and everybody listens to your voice and listen to the sound where it's trapped? I feel like that would be you because you have such a like soothing voice. Yeah.
Yeah,
You've been told?
yes.
You've been told?
I've been told that I have a very soothing voice.
You've been
so
told.
yes.
So Rosie, here on my show, I do a little something called What Now, right? What Now? Only because there's always something going on out there, and then you're like, oh my goodness, like what now? Like what's going on now, right? So we're just gonna touch base on some of these, and we'll talk about it, and let's see what's going on. Let's check out our first What Now.
A lot of kids in America want to run a lemonade stand, but not many feel like they have to. 7-year-old Emery Johnson started her business a few weeks ago after a terrible nightmare morning.
I woke up with the worst news of my life.
Emery's mother, Carly, died unexpectedly at the age of 29. She was a single mom and Emery's everything.
We go see Mommy?
Which is why she couldn't understand, first time she went to the cemetery with her grandmother Jennifer, why everyone else got giant granite headstones, but her mom, just this tiny metal one.
Did that bother you? Why?
Because it felt like she was being left out.
Her grandma tried to explain how they couldn't afford a headstone right now.
She had tears in her eyes and wanted to help.
So she did the only thing that she could think of to raise money.
Yes.
I made a lemonade stand.
A lemonade stand to pay for her mother's headstone. At first, she didn't make mention of her cause.
Thank you.
But word got out.
Thank you.
And before long,
Thank you.
Emery says it seemed like just about everyone here in Scottsboro, Alabama was thirsty for lemonade. The price was $1.
Thank you.
But she says people liked it so much,
How many cups do you want?
they often paid more.
Thank you. The most that we got for 1 cup of lemonade was $300.
For lemonade?
Yeah, for 1 cup.
Whoa! So far, Emery's lemonade stand has raised more than $15,000, which will all go into savings because a monument company is now donating the headstone. But more importantly, Emery has taken that lemon life handed her and squeezed out hope.
Her comment was when all these people came, she couldn't believe so many people cared for her and loved her mommy.
They always say it takes a village to raise a child, but sometimes it also takes a village to mourn a mom. Folks around here take that role seriously, offering Emery comfort by the cupful and all the love she can drink.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Steve Hartman, on the road, in Scottsboro, Alabama.
Oh my God. Wasn't that touching?
Yeah.
Wasn't that beautiful? I mean, listen, when I have my show and I do my What Now, usually it's a lot of like, pop culture and this and that. But I came across this video and, it intrigues me with the lemonade stands because my children used to do lemonade stands. And I know that a lot of kids, I every day now I see, and I think it's cute that they do it. They have something. But this was very touching because of the meaning behind it and the little girl wanting to do this because of that. I mean, how many kids that age actually are saying, it's not fair, my mom doesn't have a headstone, why? And wanting to do this, it was very touching. You know what? Let's go to our next one.
All right, so our next story is California's new $20 minimum wage for fast food workers causing restaurants to close. It's been more than 2 months since the increase went into effect for large fast food chains, and one just announced that it is closing 4 dozen of its locations throughout the state. ABC 10's Becca Habegger takes a look.
Stacked chairs, empty tables, and a sign, "This location has closed," greets anyone approaching Rubio's Coastal Grill in El Dorado Hills. This Carlsbad-based restaurant chain announced late last week it's closing 48 of its more than 100 California locations. 86 locations will remain open across Nevada, Arizona, and California.
What we're seeing right now is, I think, unfortunately, the beginning of a trend, in...
So, very interesting. We used to kind of like complain about, how the minimum wage was way too low, because you had jobs that it's like, wow, I'm doing this job and, so now you see like, especially like McDonald's raised it like, what is it, at $15 an hour or something like that? I mean,
I think so.
Listen, I'm not knocking it for those that are doing it. Like, good for you. Like to me, any job that anybody does is amazing. As long as you're working, I really, but you always think, oh, you work at McDonald's, you work at Burger King, because it's supposed to be they just raised it like to $15 or whatever it is. So interesting enough, out in California, now they kind of like surpassed that and they're doing 20 hours an hour just to work in fast food. And I'm not saying that's not, worth it or is not easy, but now you have places that are closing down because they can't afford that. But it's like a double standard. So now you make more money, or you have, because the wages are lower, right? So now you can pay that. But now that it's serving for, the employee, I guess, better living, and they're getting more money, but now because you got to give that money now, or it's not good enough, it's not good business for you. Now I got to start closing down my business. So I'm like, oh my goodness, when do the people who are getting these raises get a break? Because now, listen, I would have loved that back in the day. I remember minimum wage. I've worked for like what, $5 and $5. I don't know when, a long time ago. Let's not get into that. But like I remember, and I remember also working a job that it was like $12, and I thought, I was like, wow, that's great, and then, but as you go along, you never think as fast food restaurants as to be, minimum wage to be so much, So I think it's shame on them. They should keep, I don't know. That's like it's like you have people who went to school and got a degree and earn less money.
Yes,
that
so happens a lot.
I think that might be. But moving along, I think we have one more. Okay, so just to get off on a tangent here, this is sort of like the pop culture. This is a lot of in the hip hop culture and all that. So you have. My question is this. We've been following, we're not even going to get into the people that we're following and all that, but apparently is, a couple and girls have the babies from the baby daddies or whatever it is, My thing is that we were showing there, I don't know if we can get that. Can we get that back again, that picture? So, and it's zoomed in because my thing is they're tattooing their boyfriends or babies on their face, like right on their face, like, and I wonder, obviously I have nothing against tattoos because I myself am, I'm inked, arted, whatever you want to call it, tattooed. But when it comes to your face, I think that is something different, especially when you're putting somebody else's face on your. Do I think, is that, in your opinion, do you think that comes from mental? Like like they're missing something in life?
I mean,
like
definitely, I would say it has to do something with the mind. I know that I also have tattoos and they have meant something to me, and it starts in my mind. What does it mean to me?
Okay.
And so to tattoo a significant other's face on your face, it must mean something to them.
Right.
That you have to have that, whether it's that, this is the person that either I belong to or belongs to me. Maybe that's something that it means, because it's, like I said, for me personally, all of my tattoos have a very special meaning. And most people, I think, that
Yeah,
put tattoos,
absolutely.
especially after a certain age, you want to put
Absolutely.
something that means something to you. So it must mean something
But
to
when
them.
I look at these young girls, who, think they're in love, or they're, especially they're pretty known in the hip hop culture. But funny thing is that she's never had this tattoo. She a lot of trial and tribulations. It's like a rocky relationship, very rocky. With leaving her one other moment. Then after she decided that she's gonna have a baby with this man that she knows that they have a rocky, and then after now she decides to put it's like he left you for somebody else. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, Bobby, do we have one more? Or that was it. Okay, that's it. But I just think there has to be. I blame the tattoo artist. I think there should be some kind of boundary to make sure. Like, I think before they do such a thing, they need a little bit of counseling.
Well,
like
I think.
like right there, like the tattoo artist should have some kind. I believe if any tattoo artist is out there who's ever encountered any type of situation like this, I just feel like somebody who's asking something to the extreme. So the way I say is, like, I know that some cultures, face tattooing and designs, whatever, it's part of their culture, and it's something that, you would just brought into it, or but in others where you just feel like, oh, that's my boyfriend, I'm going to tattoo his face on my, and it's not even like your kid, your kid is your kid. It's going to be with you for life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else's face, and that you have a tumultuous and rocky relationship, and you smack. Like, I feel like the tattoo artist should do like some type of counseling before. And
That would be ideal.
Maybe try to talk them out of it, before, because, pretty hard to be taken seriously when you have somebody else's face on your face.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
if you're trying to get a job, or I don't know. Listen, to each his own, but and trust me, that's not even half of the crazy stuff that I've seen out there. Like, literally, the tattoos have gone insane, from like covering yourself like totally in black ink to even coloring. Have you seen the coloring of your eyeballs? The white, like, tint, or blacked out.
Wow,
Like,
no,
this
I
is
have not seen
crazy.
that.
Yeah, but anyway, all right, to each his own. But
I have heard about children getting tattooed, or parents letting their children or tattooing their children at a very young age. That to me is this is something that
unnecessary.
It's left for life, and
Absolutely.
to remove it, it requires
I
laser
think they
removing.
need to be
It's
old
burning.
enough to make the decision if they want that or not.
Yes.
But is that something that somebody wants to come in and you can heal their traumas? Maybe.
Well, I do believe that we all need someone to guide us, especially because in the world that we're living in today, the things that we're seeing are really out there.
Absolutely.
They're different. They're definitely different. Things are changing, but I think that, we need to have some kind of balance.
Some kind of balance.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So I see, we just seen that was part of your website, that like people that would like to go on, and they see you have a program set up?
Yes.
Like,
yes,
so
there's
what
a
exactly
program.
what exactly does that program entail?
It's called 12 Elevate.
12?
Elevate.
Elevate.
Yes, and it's about elevating in 12 weeks.
Okay.
Transforming your life.
Okay.
Starting off with, what areas of your life do you feel imbalanced? And there are 7 areas of life. I can go through them with you when we schedule our session.
Yeah, absolutely.
And see what areas have you mastered. Because we all have areas of life that we've mastered that are really important to us. And then there are some areas of life that may be imbalanced.
Okay.
And the only reason that they're imbalanced are mindsets that are blocking our view to elevate them.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
You could see on the page that there's everything that's included in the 12 weeks.
So all they have to do is just go on your website.
Yes.
And
MsRJ.com.
Yeah, we definitely have to let everybody know exactly, but your audio, you say you have the audiobooks, right?
Yes, yes.
Where is that something that they can purchase?
Right on, actually right on my website. You can click on
the website.
it.
Now
Yes.
those audiobooks, is it it's the same thing if you were in person, or are you just speaking?
I'm reading the books. Yes,
You're
I'm
reading
the author.
okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
you're
I'm
reading the
reading
books, and it's more. Is that part of like meditation? That
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, my voice is soothing in
Okay.
general. One of the books that's called "Just Think I Love You," which is part of that little sticker that we gifted you,
Ah.
and it's really about having that thought
Really?
in your mind from the moment that you open your eyes to while you're brushing your teeth, to just think I love you and see how much love you feel throughout your day. And that came through also a float session that I did 24 hours, 48 hours
Okay.
of floating and just having that thought, I love you.
I love it. I love you. See, people, I love you. And Bobby, please stop. Enough is enough. You know what, Bobby? Let's make a deal. You got to come on the show, okay? You should be on Facebook right now. I'm not really allowed to supposed to be talking, but since you're crying, and you quit, you can't quit on me. See what it says? So you need to come on the show, hit me up, and we can make a date, okay? Rosie, like every time that I have such an amazing and interesting guest as yourself, time flies.
Yes, wow.
Time flies, time flies. Look, Bobby,
Yes.
my other Bobby, I have a friend Bobby is over here saying that he's going to quit because he's trying to reach me and he can't, but he knows that I'm here and we're waiting for him to come on here and he can talk about himself and his new album with the group Stetsasonic. I don't know if you ever heard Stetsasonic back in the day. Bobby, you need to come in and you need to reveal yourself on the Could Be You TV show. Our Bobby, our producer, puts a timer on because sometimes I can talk and talk and talk so much and you can get so deep into it. That time's up already and it's like, okay, cut it. And I didn't even get to say goodbye to anybody. So I got to watch that and make sure that that I'm on time. But it was amazing. I am so glad that you were able to come.
Thank you.
But before we leave, before we say goodbye, I want you to let everybody that's watching right now, what are your handles, where they can reach you, how is it that you do everything?
Okay, well, everything is really online. You can visit my website.
Visit the website. Okay.
Yes, www.mizrj.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, as the same way, MizRJ.com.
MizRJ.com.
Yes. And you can just message me directly.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I find it amazing, and I can't wait to. I relate all this back to my son, who's so in tune also with all this floating, and he's gonna be like, Mom, why didn't you tell me? I would have, But there's so much to talk about that you can't just squeeze everything in, But thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, and I hope to make you, this won't be your last, just your first one will be your last. Would love to hear more about, and you know what? I definitely want to go in. I want to document my experience. I definitely want to come back here with it, So thank you so much, and it was a pleasure, and I'll be seeing you soon,
Yes.
For everybody that's watching right now, everybody that's on my Instagram live right now, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had fun. I hope you listened. Everybody that is chit-chatting with me right now on Facebook, I hope this was an interesting show because it was for me. But remember, guys, thank you so much. You know that I always say thank you to all my viewers, for all my loyal viewers, to my new viewers. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I read and I listen to your messages day in and day out, of that's what I like to do. I like to inspire. I like to motivate. I do this for you guys. I do this out of love, okay? So the only thing in return that I want is for everybody to share the link, share the video, because, you know, like I said before, sharing is caring. And I just want to say thank you. And I want everybody to have a good night. I will see you next week, same time, same place. Los quiero mucho, los amos. Mwah. And here I leave you off with my own inspirational video. Ciao. Bye, guys. To all the people having birthdays, let's be grateful, right? Let's be grateful that we have another birthday to celebrate, enjoy life. I don't know about you, but I love life. And I love my life. And everyone has their ups and downs. You know, life is not perfect. It's what you make of it. And I want to live. I want to live every day. I want to see beautiful things. I thank God every time I wake up each morning. You know, my mom always instilled in me, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is just thank God for giving you that that gift to open up your eyes and to see the world and to see, you know, I'm going to fight for my life. I'm not ever going to put my life in danger because I love life.